Okay, Secluded Grove, Infernal versus Vanguard. This is the Alpha Navigator Cup, and we're starting on a classic map, Secluded Grove. Let's see, spawning down here in the south. It is our Infernal player, Loulis, and his opponent. Spawning up in the north, it is Mitosis. So, one interesting thing that we haven't really talked about since we've been seeing so many Celestial players that is unique to this matchup is you have this little first battle going on is the Scout versus the Hexen, which is very cool that both races do get access to it. Everybody gets access to it, right? The Morph Core kind of fills that slot. This also fills that slot. Before, it used to be you just have to deal with the dog, and it was scary and tough, and you'd have to build this very defensive setup here. And this is something that you should always do if you're Infernal against Vanguard, because the dogs can come in here and deal some damage and be tough to deal with and stuff like that. But opening up with the Iron Vault here is nice. You can kind of guarantee that you can be able to take your expansion. It does cost 350 Luminite, though. So you see this kind of coming out early, getting it ready. The dog's goal is to just scout and confirm and deny it and delay it as much as possible. That's the whole point of it. And there we see the expansion coming out. But, oh, the first Lancer. Like, if this just was just the Hexen by itself, this Lancer would be a little bit harder and a little bit scarier to deal with. But there is the cast. We're going to see the skull move across. The skull, of course, is able to deal a little bit of damage. It reveals, and then it also adds a little bit of infestation on there here. But the dog slips away and will be able to get in there, get some information off if he wanted to. But the next Lancer is here, so this is the time he's going to be able to come. And nope, he goes for the recall, gets him out of there. The Brute will end up getting taken down in this fight if he's not careful. So we see this big macro or micro skills here. Oh, actually goes for the effigy here. That is a nice little trick to try to make sure that he gets a little bit of added shields onto these units. That's that white bar there. And does he get it? Oh, he does get the snipe there. So trades a Lancer for a Brute, kills off the effigy. That effigy is a nice little trick there for players to be able to do. But we are not ready for the expansion yet. We're still being aggressive here, which you do have this little window in the early stages where you can just kind of really tax your opponent and really force them to be in that kind of micro mode and not be able to do everything that they want to do and put them at risk. Now, the Conclave is coming out here. This is kind of that next stage here for our Infernal players to be able to start getting those gaunts up, the range units to kind of help out. But the more and more Lancers that get added up, the scarier this is going to be. Brutes are great for absorbing hits. They're big, beefy units, but they don't do a lot of damage. So if too many Lancers get over here, things are going to get crazy, going to get scary. And thank you for the follows, everybody. We appreciate you guys sticking with us today. Aurelia, Stormgate, glad you're liking it. This is, of course, the Alpha Navigators Cup for everybody that's tuning in, and this is the semifinals right now. And boom, the dog gets the confirmation, gets the scout off. In the meantime, the command post has gone down. Now, one of the nice things that the Vanguard has access to is the fact that all of their bobs can be able to kind of grab together, work together to be able to build one building at a time. So you'll see them go, oh, I really need to get an extra barracks up. I really need to get this extra habitat up, right? They have the ability to do that here. So Doggo's going to be zipping around, still getting that information. Did not take the tower yet. Interesting. But now we'll be able to start grabbing it. Remember, we talked about how once you control that bar fills up, that is yours. All right. So this Fiend could get over there and be able to do that. But of course, does get over and get the scouting information. Here we go. There's that information of all the bobs working together to make we get the biokinetics lab in here. We're getting an additional barracks. So this is that next stage for our Vanguard players. The next set of the bio units that we're going to be able to see as they start to get into the XO stage here. Now, they're also in the same plan of let's kind of make a nice little Sim City, build these buildings together to protect this location the best that we can here. All right, Ritual Chamber, the next stage, classic stage for our Infernal players. We need to get up to that Infest stage to be able to kind of help us into the next stage of the game, this kind of mid stage of us securing our natural, going for our third bases here, and the dog confirms it. Says, I see exactly where you're at. You're trying to take your third base right as I'm getting into the Exo stages, so it's going to be a window of opportunity for Loulis to try to find that spot to attack. Now, this little fiend is confirming that there is no third base yet for Loulis. Or not for Loulis is our Infernal player. I keep mixing players up here. That's what happens. That's what happens sometimes. But the doggo is able to zip and zip out. Mitosis is doing what he can to kind of get the information, healed himself up with all of his Lancers here, and we're going to start to see some Exos get added in here after he's done getting the upgrades. Boom, first upgrade done. The kinetic redirection is a huge one for the Lancers. So the way that things are going to be working out here is that he's going to be able to get extra movement speed as well as increasing his attack speed. So this is just kind of powering up his units. Remember, the way that the Vanguard units do better the longer they stay alive. They have this ranking system, so the more that they kill stuff, the higher rank that they get, the more damage they get, the more health that they get, which helps them out here. So there's those Exos, the ranged units that are going to be able to come in here and start picking apart. We will be seeing some upgrades get added on to them in the near future, but at this point we're in the secure mode. Let's take over as many of our towers as we can, get the resource towers in here, and both players have the same mindset here is, okay, we're in the big power up stage here of the game, all right? We're both going to be out on the map. We're sharking. We're keeping ourselves active, keeping our army moving, because if we're idle and we're sitting around, we're going to end up getting caught out of position somehow. We're going to end up losing some units for free. We cannot do that. We have to be up and moving. And the doggo getting in and getting a lot of info will start to deal a little bit of extra damage here until the brutes kind of scare him away. And there we go. We'll be able to zip his way out. That's the speed of the dog in this position here. He can kind of get in and, oh, even gets through the trees there. Nice. Fiends are going to try to chase him down in the meantime here. And well, actually, oh, catches him off guard. That's what we said. That idle moment there, and he will die. But both players have secured their third base. So here's the slight difference, right? We see Mitosis is going for this kind of traditional, I'll have this kind of 3 bases spread across the map here, over here on the left, over here on the right, and kind of really be able to kind of maneuver and protect these with this little pathway here. He's going to be moving across, though, because he's saying, okay, are you taking this third base? No? Well, let me see if I can sneak in. There's probably these angles to attack at, and he's found it. Imps are vulnerable right here, and he's going to try to move in and see what sort of damage that he can get done. But, oh, already we're starting to see the Magmadons get added in. This is that big, beefy boy that's able to start slamming and stomping down on the ground and really be able to disrupt this bioforce that we see our Vanguard player going for here. But we're going to see a very large gaunt count. Pay close attention to these little units here. There are axe throwers. They're the high DPS army in this, or high DPS unit in this army. Well, the brutes are the wall here. There's the slam coming out as the Magmadon. The effigy getting dropped down to just kind of increase the shields. All that white bar above these units, giving them just that added bonus of health here. But here's the sneak in. The Exos have found the angle. Now, these little meat farms here are just kind of the delay tactic. We need that, of course, the supply, but it also allows us to kind of add some troops in here that will distract our opponent and be annoying here. But a little bit of weakening them is fine. This is the confirmation that you just have to be scary and be careful of the main army. So he gets on out. Now, these are key tactics when you're fighting, right? You want to be able to find out exactly where the army is and maybe find another angle to attack. In this case, there's not a really good angle to get in here at this point. But look at that. Big slam, cleaning up some trees, allowing a easier pathway to attack from and get into this expansion area if he wanted to. And oh, look at this little med tech getting out here. What are you doing out here? Out of position, taking a lot of hits here, but this is a dangerous spot to be going for the camp here. And there's another effigy saying, this is my forward position now. We're going to be fighting over this. He's got to be careful if his army gets split up too much here. Boom, big infest. That big green ball went down here, and you see a lot of these units getting hurt there. If they die while infested, we will be able to see them turn into fiends here. Lancers trying to back up a little bit. The med tech's going to be able to help out with the healing, but there's the slams that we're looking for here to push this force back. But you have to be careful. This Bioforce is getting scarier and scarier. The longer that they stay alive, the more kills they get. They're going to start leveling up here, and it's going to be tough. But the amount of Magmadons is the key unit to keep track of in addition to the Gaunt count. So pay close attention to that. On this side, we're looking at the number of Exos that our Vanguard player has. And he's going to get this Watchtower committed to this here. And there's the slams coming in. Can he sneak his way out? And look at the speed boost. You can see it on the Exos as they're zipping their way on out of here so they can continue with that DPS. The Lancers in the front trying to hold the line the best they can. But some of these forces are on the left. They're split up. And now he's forced back here. And the army value is depleting, but left alive. So the Exos still here. All of those survived that fight. Some Lancers die in the front, which is fine. We're not that worried about it. Bobs, you're on the hard trail here, trying to work your way and long distance mine the way, not really what we want, but catching a couple of reinforcements that rally here, and now he's kind of positioned himself where he can get on some of these Gaunts. That's exactly what he wants for, but there's the slam. The Stampede moving its way forward. The Exos retreating back. You see that big boost as they try to get and micro their way on out of here, but look at this army. The amount of Infernal units is overwhelming here. He's got to be very careful, and whoa, what a weird little ramp thing. I have not seen the effigies effects on a ramp and how much effect. Really, it didn't even look like a ramp, but you can see just this corner here showing that. So it's just like hard cutoff there. But this is the tough spot now. We do see a dropship loading up here. He's going to be going for the Atlas drops. Now, that is where things are going to take a turn for the worse for our Infernal player if he's not careful. They just completely decimate all of this base. So look at this. Gaunt's getting all on top of it here. And there is the drop. Atlas, oh, didn't get a shot off. He had to retreat it back in time. There you see. Watch out. The floor is lava. Literally, that thing is going to just shred all these Gaunts. Look at that. Boom. No more armor on these guys. They're just one shot, a lot of them here. And now he's in this kind of back and forth here. He's taken over the base, though. He said, okay, you may not have a fourth base, while at the same time, we're seeing Loulis doing exactly what you're supposed to do in an RTS. Be aggressive while also expanding. He's taking this fourth base here. He's gotten the pathway. He's holding the line, but there we see the nice micro skill of Mitosis. And look at this. He found a protective spot. This Atlas is uncontested here. He's looking for some damage. Bam. Big shots going on the back line. Exos still have to get micro, though, and there's some Fiends coming in. He's getting surrounded. He's got to be careful. He's leaving the Atlas alone. Oh, no. This is going to be a tough spot here. Is he going to get overwhelmed? And it looks like the amount of Gaunts, the amount of DPS that is there is too much. And got to be careful. Defensive Atlas there just kind of put a blanket stop to that and said, nope, you may not come this way here, which lets us know we can reposition. Let's find another angle to attack. Let's take over this watchtower. Let's get confirmation exactly where my enemy is. A very skilled Vanguard player, Mitosis, is going through here and using these evac drops, which is going to be very tough to deal with and something that you never want to be on the receiving end if you are a Infernal player here. But still being in his face, forcing him back. Look at our supplies here. You might say that this is done and over with, but these are going to turn the tide of things, and you'll just see that weak glass cannon army here. They're very fragile, just get shredded. But, oh, nice. We do see our Shadow Flyers getting added into the mix here, and we'll be able to get, oh, does get, and snipes out the drop, snipes out one Atlas, and repositions himself over here. Still trying to find that angle. Can he get in there? He's sweet. Oh, he is. He's going for it. The Bobs tried to take an expansion, but it was not enough. And now he's got to be careful because this army is basically forfeit if he does this. If he does not catch a good angle here, he will end up losing all these units. And looks like he will try to find the angle he needs to. But look, again, he keeps hitting the effigies right on ramps there and ends up not getting the shields that he needs. So he's trying to deal as much damage as possible. And look at it. The rest of his troops are kind of split up, allowing the Atlas to be able to just shred and take out the Magmadons. His army split in half there. It got really hurt. But look, he does jump on it. Shadow Flyer's getting in, taking out the evacs, and now all of the Atlas will be cleaned up. So he was able to reposition back with the rest of his army. But here come the Lancers, here comes the Evo, and he's going to be getting a nice little bit of damage over on the right-hand side. But things are chaos over here at the natural. But more and more reinforcements. You see a trickle of blue moving across the map, and it is too much for Mitosis, and he GG's out. What a game that was. Very, very tough. Very exciting stuff from both players here as we see Loulis take game 1 in this best of 3 action. All right. GG's. GG's. Let's switch over and see what game number 2. What a good game that was there. It's like it was very tough for a long time, but we saw Loulis was just really up in his face. A lot of really good decision makings of adding the Magmadons on when he did, being able to have a huge influx of all those gaunts, but really having to kind of keep his opponent on his side of the map and just say, I'm going to be in your face as much as possible and really make sure that I can be able to keep you over here and keep the pressure on and really get you to be the one making mistakes in this regard where things might be like, ooh, I lost my Atlas in the center of the map where I really needed that to help defend. And, you know, the Atlas drops were really good until the Shadow Flyers showed up and shut that down. But that doesn't mean that can't happen the next one. We're going into Titan's Causeway for map number 2. This will be our first time in this event seeing it. So let's get into it. It's a little bit of a fun one, if you will, like the way that the pathways work and stuff on here. So let's kind of add this over so the players can join up, and we'll be jumping into game number 2 shortly in the Alpha Navigator Cup semifinals. Spawning in the south, currently down 0-1 in this best of 3, he is Mitosis. And his opponent, spawning up in the north, currently up 1-0. He is Loulis. All right, same deal. Doggo shenanigans coming across. Our Hexen coming to defend. So, this is another one of those pathway matters, but the expansions, your natural, very easy to get. You have options for your third, though. Like, do you just continue to go north? Do you go to your left or right? We shall see. But there, boom, there's the skull hit. Double hit here, and oh my gosh, just get it away. That is a nice little pick. Not something that should be happening for players. Only top 8 required to submit their replays. I believe so, but I would double check with Adiko because he is the overlord of the Alpha Navigators Cup. I just help out with the commentary side of things, as sometimes do little adminning things like hosting lobbies. But he does all the actual behind the scenes adminning and things like that. So. All right. Expansion's coming down for both players. Look at that, Bob's ready to go. They knew exactly what their job is here. So we went for an expansion first here out of Mitosis, where we are going to be seeing kind of the similar route here. We're going to be aggressive with the Hexen. We're going to be aggressive, especially because we've got the Fiend and we have like an uncontested route of information, right? There is complete darkness right now for Mitosis. All the information that we get to see as the viewers right now is blacked out. He's got the fog of war. He doesn't know anything's coming until it's here, like right now. And then we see the overload going to allow these guys to be able to move a little bit faster, get them a little bit stronger for a little bit here. Dogs coming out here, and now we're going to see some labs. Let's lock down this ramp a little bit, protect it a little bit more. And how well is he going to be able to deal with this as the brutes are about to show up? Boom, first big skull thrown across, hitting the Bob here. It is going to be revealed, taking damage, but very smart. Look at this, already repairing it up. Effigy, he says, I'm loading up right outside your base. Let's fight right here. Are you ready for this? The Lancers are going to be on the way soon here, but are they going to be up in enough time? There's another skull coming in here, hitting that, turning it into a Fiend. Every little bit counts. The sentry post is coming up quick. He's got so many bobs on it, and we're going to see so many of them start to go down. But there he goes. We'll be able to start using this defensive structure here. And rushed up to the Exo, and this flat cannon is going to be dealing so much damage. He will hold off this pressure very easily now. That's the power of the flat cannon. It does so much damage here. Look at this, 22 damage, easily shredding through those units. And so he is forced to kind of back up there. And there, a little bit more damage to the doggo, but doggo will get away and all that. All right, secured and safe. Powering up stage for both players here, rushing up to the Exo. Very smart decision. Exo's very strong units here. You know, we see just how powerful they are once we start getting some upgrades and going for that quick draw hustle, which is a really cool one. That's that when we see them like start to get that speed boost, that's all about that upgrade there. Here are the units gathering up. Are we going to start grabbing some of the towers here? This is that thing about like, again, you have all these pathways, these ramps that you see players going on here. The doggo's coming over here, and oh, he's going for the double. All right, there's a double Luminite mine here. So this is one of those maps where you have to make that choice. I personally go this sort of route where I will kind of expand, you know, north or south of me. All right, some players might want to risk going for like this, you know, but that's really risky to go out this way. It's so far away, it feels like. Where this one, it's easier, it's safer, right? These secure little ramps of you to kind of get down into this little pocket expansion. Yes, there are trees here that can be destroyed, but they're not easily destroyed. And if you keep yourself active and you get some vision, you should be okay. Like, it also gives us setup here with all of these little kind of locations that we can start taking out here. And look at that, bam. We have that option here. Pull them over, utilize the flat cannon to kind of help us with this. Boom. That's the speed that we're talking about. Movement speed. Really supports those kind of micro skills of players here. All right. Towers information is revealed. Third base is going down for our Infernal player, while we are going to be seeing kind of that big power up and get prepared for it. Look at the bobs moving across. He says, I'm going to be taking this. This is like a safer base, if you will, right? It's tucked away. It's secured in that. You have this ramp here. So, like, it's safer to go this route. But there's these trees here that it's like you can sneak your way through the right units. Fiends, gaunts, things like that. Oh, did he catch it? I don't know if he did. He might have. There's the sentry post coming up. Yeah, he caught him. Easy. But that's kind of our... This will be our main contention point here. Both players know this, and so we're going to see the push up already. The Exo's already getting some kills. They can use their speed, their mobility, and start zipping their way out. There's another effigy coming down here. Will it be enough to help him? And he's just going to be making sure he doesn't get caught, he doesn't get surrounded, and he can micro his way around here. And Mitos is doing just that with the Exos. This is that power in these early stages, before we start to see the Magmadons added in here, before the Gaunt count gets too high, is things are really tough. You just feel like my units are so slow, so bulky, so cumbersome as the Infernal player, where you feel like you're the Flash right now if you're sitting here and microing and keeping these units alive as the Exo players, and just getting more and more points added up here, leveling up every single kill. And look at this. Now you can just shred all these. They're all dead. Boom, boom, boom. Easy mode. All right. Repositioning. He could have tried to chase a little bit more, but that leaves yourself open for like more vulnerabilities and weaknesses and stuff like that. So it doesn't work out so well. All right. Grabbing the speed boost. Magmadon's added in. So, in our next fight, pay close attention to the positioning and the number of Magmadons that are in there. These big old dino-looking Kodo boys. That's going to be key. Number of Gaunts, also going to be key. If it's only Exos, when are we going to start seeing the med techs get added into the mix? Are we going to add any Lancers, or are we just going straight up, go for speed here? All right, taking the center. Remember, these locations here, these towers are really important. You get additional resources here. So we are getting that fight over this. We know that this is happening. And there's the med techs. We start to see them. And they are going to be sitting here healing up, adding some extra damage, being the big beefy boys in the front. There's the Lancers getting added in. Oh, first Magmadon gets sniped very quickly, though. That was a really nice pick there for Mitosis. All right, here we go. No Magmadons here, so the Lancers getting up in the front. The Exos here going to be just zipping their way through a lot of the Brutes here, so there's no more front line. And now all the Gaunts are going to be in trouble. They are going to have to start retreating their way back here, and you're going to be spending so many resources just to try to get a large number up here. And look at this. We see the refresh here. We're trying to get a spam out of units to try to protect us in this location, but this aggressive push here is going to be tough to deal with. There's no Magmadons that we need to be able to slam and slow these units down. They're just too fast and too hard to catch in this location here. And now imps can start to get cleaned up. You see the Gaunts trying to position, but look at the supplies here. This is going to be even tougher for Loulis to be able to try to recover. And even with the defensive positioning here, without the extra tier 2 units, it's not enough. GG, well played, is called. Loulis ends up taking or losing that game. It is tied up. Mitosis tying it up 1-1 here. Anybody's game now to make it into the finals. That one was all about the Exos. We saw just how good they are about speeding their way around. That flat cannon defense, the rush up, tech up to be able to get up to the Exos initially with the first aggressive push worked out phenomenally well. He was able to secure his natural and then just kind of powered up on Exos from that point on, relying on their speed and momentum to kind of push his way through and deal with any of that tier 1 units that the Infernals would throw. The one Magmadon that was there immediately got sniped off because all those Exos stayed alive for so long and were able to kind of build up to those next stage. So we're going to be jumping into game number 3 very shortly here. It's going to be on Lost Hope. Okay, here we go. This is our first time seeing. This is a very cool map. It's a 4-player map, and it is any spawn is available. You could be cross spawn. You could be left side, right side. So these players are immediately sending out and trying to scout and find out exactly. Look at the dog already checked. Okay, you're not to my right. Where are you? Skull's going to get over here. And we'll be able to... Oh, he didn't go enough. All right, he's checking. Yeah, he confirms it. Okay. Oh, so look at this. He scouts. And now the dog confirms. Dang it. I scouted you last. Something very cool that doesn't happen as often in this game is these big 4-player maps where you can be able to see that. And look at this. Boom. Let's go for the aggression with the Bobs. Try to scare this guy away. You know you want to focus this one guy down. Look at the effigy immediately. Let's get this thrown down. Let's get some armor up here, and let's try our best. But there is not enough energy to really make this worthwhile, so we got to fall back. Same sort of plan going to be getting used here. We see an expansion first. It worked out great last time, and we'll get set up here. We do see the similar plan, though, is getting out from Loulis. He's going for the Conclave as well as the Iron Vault after he expanded. Now, this map is very fun. I like this map a lot. You get this nice little easy natural expansion here. You have a nice tucked-in safe third base here, and you have a pocket fourth base here. You can easily macro up and be able to just be secure and take a lot of expansions. What the? You got the kill? Oh my gosh. Doggo MVP. What? Got the kill there. And we see the meat farm locking this door, saying stay away. You cannot come in here and get any more kills here. Ah. Repositioning the meat farm there. Need to make sure that he kept that unit alive best that he can. This is just sort of that, hey, I really want to be mining, so I'm going to keep him alive by doing this. Now my brutes here, I should be okay to deal with this. Scout, of course, quite a bit of health. Too pesky. Won't be able to be caught very easily, but by going for the Iron Vault and going for the Conclave at the same route right after you take this expansion, you are able to kind of push anything away, right? There's two ways into the base here, this path and this path. That's why I said that you have the safe pocket third. You have a fourth base just for the Luminite here. So you have a lot of Luminite and access to it. If you want to get Therium, you have two options here. You can take a hidden location base over on the corners, or you can be able to fight over the center. And if you can get control of this center where the watchtower is and all of this, you're going to be in a good spot. But here's the first exo. This is a little risky. This kind of push up here, this soft contain that he's going for here is a little risky. That's why we're going to be seeing Ritual Chambers get added in here. He's teching up, doing everything he's supposed to. Now, look at this speed. All right, very quick, very mobile. He's got to be careful about how he engages here. More exo is going to get rallied on over here, but this is a little bit different than last game. All right, we didn't really get to see Loulis be the aggressor, you know, this game. Mitosis is the one being the aggressor here. And right now he said, okay, let's kind of reposition. Let's get ourselves set up here. So he's going to be doing some little micro battles, take over the watchtower in the center. In the meantime, the doggo gets, almost gets caught. If we had the infest ability, he would have been dead. But there's the quick gobbling up of that flower, healing up that one unit back to full health. You can find those, of course, on the map. A little bit of health available. All right. Double racks, utilizing all the resources at his disposal to just kind of pump out exos. They're very tough, very hard to deal with in these early stages for an Infernal player. He's really got to rely on being defensive at this point in time. If he kind of pushes out too much, he's going to end up losing a lot of his forces, especially the gaunts, which he needs. So, in his own decision making, he's going to start creeping out. Doesn't want all the creeps to go away, because every time you kill one of those creeps, you get a little bit of extra Therium. So that extra boost to the money, very important. Also, he's going to use that extra Therium he's getting to just take another base. I mean, Luminite. Therium and Luminite. Luminite mines, Therium rocks. I don't know. Oh, did we get another Hexen? We did. Okay, good. I feel like you need to. You should always have at least one. I've been even sprinkling in a couple more depending on what I'm fighting against, but... All right, Fiend's getting over here. Let's get some information. What's going on? Get into the base. Ooh. I would try to sneak him up there if you can, but... He does get seen, cleaned up, no problem here. All right, there's the power-up information we needed. The double conclave addition afterward. So you're getting into the kind of next stages, the greater shrine here. You're going to be increasing the amount of gaunts set up for the next stage, while at the same time we're going to be seeing a very similar play for Mitosis. He's all about going for the exos. We're going to see some med techs get transitioned and added in here. We'll see some lancers slowly get added in here, but this is the kind of scary thing. I need to make sure that I'm going to be grabbing my shrines around me, but I have to be careful, because now that my opponent has this speed one, I know where they are on the map, right? I need to be careful of it. Doggo staying in the bushes here is very nice. All right. Getting some more scouting off with the skull. That's why I say the Hexen are important, and you should always add an additional one back in there. By having that, you get to confirm exactly where the army is, what they're doing. Do they have a third base, which you do confirm. So that's important information about having the Hexen, and why, even if one dies, you need to add it back in there. So we do see the move out coming back over here. Do we have the next stage of things? There they are. There's the Magmadons. Only one again. So this is the same sort of deal that we ran into last time. It's going to have to be very important that he keeps that alive here. The high ground is going to be a nice advantage for him. He's got to be careful, though, like in these sort of locations, about how he positions himself, right? This is a vulnerable spot here. Here we go. Exos staying in the back, zipping around. Lancers up in the front, absorbing a lot of hits. There's two Magmadons, so it's a little bit better than last time, but he can't overexert himself. He can't just kind of go charging down. He's got to wait for the right timing here. And there, nice little Shroud Stone defensive structure. But look at that. Immediately snipes one of the Magmadons here. And that's just the speed at which you have to deal with the Vanguard. They just get on in and out so quickly. It's so hard to deal with. And there, he tries to slam it, and he's going for it. He says, I need to commit. I need to make it happen. And does actually get some infest off here and will actually be charging his way forward here. So working out much better. The Magmadon is about to fall, though, so he's got to be careful. Med techs have shown up here to help absorb some of the hits. The Exo's running away, and he's going to have to because there's so many Gaunts in this army. And there's the med techs getting just destroyed at the front of the line here. And that effigy getting dropped. Very clean, very smart plays there, but loses the Magmadon, and now it's just Gaunts. He's going to lose this whole fighting force here, so he's committed. He's forced to go forward here as much as possible here, and now he falls, regroups back up. This is a dangerous spot to be in. It's still not as much fighting forces as you might want, and there's the heal up instead. Let's heal all these Exos, keep all them alive. We already starting to see some level 3s get added in here, right? That extra health that we need to help us out. Vulcans now getting added in. That extra DPS, that straight line fire right down the middle there is really nice. Increases power over time, right? They got that railgun that just kind of shreds things. And let's clear up the trees here. Add an extra attack path, and that is the confirmation. Now he knows this is a dangerous spot to be in. But look at this, jumping on top of those Gaunts. That's exactly what he wants the Lancers to be. The Magmadon gets kited on back and destroyed. Can the rest of the Gaunts make it back to the safety in time? Picked off one by one. A few of them do actually regroup back up where it's safe. But that's a scary fighting force. The Vulcans are here. The Exos are here. There's not much that he can be able to do without the help of the Magmadons here. And look at this. We'll see that kite back and forth start to happen again as he moves his way forward here. And there, ooh, an infest takes place. The Magmadon's coming forward here. Can he start slamming? He will be able to start dealing some damage, but it's not going to be enough. He doesn't have the follow-up. Look at all this extra shielding and health that's happening. Another Shroud Stone gets added in right at the front, and that's immediately sniped off here. And the Gaunts are falling back here, and it looks like things are going to be tough. The second Vulcan added in, look, immediately starts targeting them down, and they shred through all the Gaunts. GG, well played, and good luck is called. Mitosis's aggro play with the Exos was enough to take the series 2-1 over Loulis. What a series there. I love that adaptation that he was able to do, figuring out exactly what he needed to do after game one. After losing game one, he says, Exos are my friend in this matchup. I need the speed. I'll get in there. Let's be able to do as much damage as I can. Zip in, zip out, and it worked out phenomenally well for him. So GG's, good game for him. Taking that series, we'll be moving on to the finals here, and we'll be fighting Bose versus Mitosis.